I turned that off. Right, good morning everybody, how are you? Hope you can see this okay. I'm just going to check a couple of things before we get started, because as usual nothing ever seems to go to plan just lately with live streaming. I've noticed quite a few people having the same kind of problems, and it's the whole thing about going live is really fraught with difficulties. I can't even speak this morning, but from what I can see it looks as though I'm live for sure. There's an ad running at the moment, so we'll just turn that off. There we go. So as far as I can see everything's okay. That's good, I'm happy, and I'm going to just skip that ad. Yeah, there we are. So we are live, thankfully. That's one good thing, if nothing else. It's been a funny old couple of days for me personally, because I have been stuck in software hell. I suppose you could call it software hell. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Lee. How are you? Hope you're okay. Yeah, I've been stuck in kind of software hell, and I'll explain why in a moment. Quite simply, what this means is that for the last couple of days, well, 4 days, I've been struggling with something, and now I think I've got it all together, and I'd like to show you something that has been in development for at least 6 years, maybe 7. You know, it could be longer. And what I'm talking about is Swift. Swift is the new pilot client for VATSIM, although you will be able to use it with FSDs and maybe IVA as well. The developers do want to make it cross-network sustainable. But at the moment, let me go back a little bit. Let's go back in history, okay? So we've had in the past, and I've been on VATSIM since 2005. It started off, our voice was done through something called Roger Wilco, and we had a pilot client back then, and I cannot remember the name of it. But we had FSN, and we also had SquawkBox, and now that was in the days of FSX, okay, or even in the days of Flight Simulator 2009. I can't remember. It's that long ago. Anyway, we had Roger Wilco for voice, and we had ASRC for ATC, and I can't remember what the pilot client was. Then we got FSN, and FSN was something that was developed by a bunch of guys, predominantly one person, but then a whole load of other people came in, and FSN had all sorts of bits to it, which was really, really good in actual fact. It had a radar screen and TCAS and all sorts of things, and FSN was actually very good, although lots of people complained about it, and I can understand why. If it fell over, it fell over in dramatic style, and it would just cancel everything out. It was an abomination in many respects. Then SquawkBox came along. SquawkBox for FSX, I believe, yes, and that worked. It worked, and it was quite good. And then for those of us who moved over to Xplane, like myself, when I first got Xplane, and I got Xplane 10, we had nothing. There was nothing that we could use that would connect us to the VATSIM network. But then, very quickly, after Xplane 10 came out, something called XSquawkBox came out. Okay, so, and many of us still use XSquawkBox. XSquawkBox does exactly what it says it will do. It connects you to the VATSIM network. You can file a plan. Boom. That is it. It's really simple. But for this last 6 or 7 years, in development has been something called Swift. Now, Swift, it was first suggested, and I can't even remember by whom, because it was that long ago. It was first suggested by a couple of guys, and they said, look, we're developers, we're programmers, we will do this, we will create something. Okay, some people were asking Ross Carlson to do something. Ross Carlson created VPilot, he created VRC, and some people were asking him to do it and work on Xplane, but Ross had no interest in working with Xplane. So anyway, these two guys came along and they said, we can do it, but what we want to do is we want to make it multi-platform, so you can use it with FS9, 2004 Century of Flight, FSX, P3D version 4, Xplane, Xplane 10, and Xplane 11. So they said, we can do all of that. And that was 7 years ago at least. So it went on, it took ages and ages for anything to happen. And then at the VATSIM Global Conference in 2014, which was in Vienna, and it was called Whiskey 14, there was a preview of Swift. There was much fanfare, there was a preview of Swift. I don't think it was called Swift then, I'm not quite sure. Whatever it was previewed to much fanfare, and everybody was like standing up in the aisles and clapping and, hey, it's on its way, it's coming. And there was even pictures of it, and then there was a nice animation of development process. It was a really cool animation that somebody had done, where you could see things firing off like neurons in the brain, and where different milestones had been achieved. It was amazing, it was really good. And then silence, nothing for years. You can look on the forum, you can look on the Swift forum, and you can see that there was nothing for years. There was nobody talking, nobody saying anything, nobody posting anything. Then we saw some screenshots of what it looked like, and it looked like an Airbus MCDU, and people got really, really excited then. They said, oh yeah, this is it, this is really it, yeah, it's on its way. And then once again, silence until a couple of weeks ago, when eventually, finally, it went into open public beta, if there's such a thing. Because don't forget, this is freeware, and it's for the community, and so it eventually went into open beta. And well, yeah, what can I say? So this is where you can get it from. The link is up at the top there, but if you just type into Google Swift VATSIM pilot client, it will come up, and which is what I did this morning. And you've got this here, so on the left here you can download Swift. It talks about system requirements, installation, support, contact, documentation, etc., etc. This is a pretty boring site, but that's where you can get it from. And yeah, it kind of looks cool, but hell, it's confusing. Let me just have a look at some of the questions. Burning question: does Swift operate in VR under Xplane? Right, no idea, because I haven't got VR, but I can't see why not. Lee is using it with his own FSD server. Works great. It should work with VR, providing you are using voice to talk. Yeah. Do you see controllers online in VR? Swift doesn't interact inside Xplane. There are a couple of things that are not working inside Xplane, but and the whole VR thing. Unfortunately, I cannot answer the question because I haven't got a VR headset. I'm hoping to get one. Who knows? But anyway, let's have a look. I'll try and have a look. I've been trying to start Xplane all morning. Here we are, and for some reason it was just slowing down. So let's just kind of get Xplane open, get my mug off the screen. So there we go. So got rid of my face, and we are at Heathrow, I believe. Let's just have a look. Yeah, Heathrow. I'm stuck in the middle of the airport somewhere, and I am not connected. Okay, I'm not connected to the network, but there's my plane. Alright, so I might be on the wrong stand. I'm not really that bothered because I've come to Heathrow for a particular reason. So let me just go through some basics. You download it. You need to download two things, and let me go to my downloads page here and see if I can find it. Where the heck are you? TWS. Here we are. Let me make this a bit smaller, then we can see it. You need to download Swift installer for 64, and you also need to download Swift Bus there. Okay, those are the two things you now need to download: Swift Bus and Swift installer. Alright, plain and simple. And you install them into Xplane 11 resources, plugins. That's where you put your Swift Bus there. Okay, so it goes into Xplane 11 resources, plugins. You just install it in there, leave it. That's all you have to do. In terms of Swift itself, you can put it anywhere you want. So I put it on my big drive, as I call it here, and there it is, Swift. Alright. Now when you go in it, you're looking for things, and it's not very clear where they are or what they do, but you go into Swift, and you go to bin, and then you scroll down, and you've got these four applications here. Alright. Swift Core, Swift Data, Swift GUI, STD, and Swift Launcher. Those are the four things you'll see. And when you first start it, you need to start Swift Launcher. Okay. Now, because I've already got it installed, I can't show you the full process. But when you click on Swift Launcher, a little graphic user interface opens, and I'll show you that because I've put everything up here now. So here comes Swift Launcher. He says there it is. Okay, so this opens, and from here, this is where you configure everything you need to do with Xplane. Now, it's a little bit confusing, and it took me quite a while to get to grips with it, but then I realized I'd made a fundamental mistake when I initially started it, and the fundamental mistake was pointing it to my CSL folder. Okay, so your CSL folder is where you've got all your models, and you have to do model matching. Okay, if I click on config, what happens when you first open it up is this screen opens. Okay, you click on agree, and you just click on next, and you go through the process, and part of the process is you have to point it to your model set, okay, your CSL files. Alright, so let me show you where mine are, because at first, when you read the instructions, there are some instructions, but they're pretty poor, and at first mine said just put it into your Xplane main folder. Well, that sounded a bit risque, so to speak, but I did it. So I went into Xplane 11, and I just dumped a CSL folder here in this structure. So it showed up CSL, but that didn't seem to work too well, and I made a mistake. And also, it was Swift itself was looking for another CSL folder as well that was still hanging around in my app data folder. Forget about all my mistakes, because quite simply all you have to do is put your CSL folder in custom data. There's mine. Okay, so all the objects, everything, right? You can also download from the Swift site something known as the vertical offset fixer, or vertical offset fix, and I suggest you do that, otherwise you'll find some aircraft sunk into the ground. And what the vertical offset fix does, it fixes all the problems we've had where you see aircraft floating. So you'll be on stand, and the next aircraft next to you will be 30 foot in the air. It stops all of that, and you see every aircraft on the ground. Okay, I hope this is coming across okay, and I'm pretty sure Lee, who was a couple of days ahead of me and got his working, he may answer some questions in here if required. Okay, anyway, so there's your CSL folder. You point Swift to it, plain and simple. Now the other thing that I was doing wrong was that when I was starting everything, for some reason in my head I was clicking on the GUI and core audio on GUI side, and then I would start the application and all hell broke loose. You don't need to do that. You need standalone. Okay, now you'll notice down here that dbus peer-to-peer server is already in there. That's my address. And when you go through that first screen where you're setting up, you put in all your own details, your server. I use UK2, wherever you are in the world, then you use that server. You put in your ID, so your full name, your VATSIM ID, and your VATSIM password, the same as you would in XSquawkBox or anything else. Okay, so we'll click on Start the Swift Graphical User Interface. So you get this nice pretty logo coming up, and this is the graphical user interface. Okay, now up here you saw two lights come on, you saw the sim light come on, so that means I'm connected to the simulator. Okay, I'm not connected to VATSIM, I'm just connected to the simulator. Alright, and I'll go through this box a little bit because there's an awful lot on here. One thing that Swift has done, it is decided to choose complexity over simplicity. Whereas XSquawkBox is very simple in design and execution, Swift is complex in design and execution. I think there's so much to it that I think it would take quite a long time to learn it all. Right, yeah, Lee's. It just provides a connection interface. So if you need to text chat, you would need a way to bring the Swift window into the Xplane environment. Ensure you download the version of XBus that matches the version number of Swift. Yep, that is true. That was one of the first things that I did. I just downloaded Swift and XSwiftBus and didn't realise the two needed to be the exact version number each. So I think my XSwiftBus was a different version number from Swift, and it just, nothing would work. It actually tells you that in the instructions, but we're all the type of people that don't read instructions anymore, and we just kind of go for it. Anyway, so make sure you do that. Right, so let's just go through this a bit. Up here, up on the top here, you've got like your communications, yeah, comms, COM1, COM2, transponder code. You know, if I was to change that there, so 2200, that would be reflected in the aircraft. You've got standby mode, mode Charlie, and ident. You cannot ident, and you can go to mode Charlie. No, you can't. Sorry, you can't go to any of those until you've got a flight plan in, or put a flight plan together. So this is what they call the cockpit screen, I guess because it's got radios. This is your aircraft. There are no, at the moment you can't see any in range. There are 20 airports in range, but there's no aircraft in range because I'm not connected to the network. ATC stations, they would all show up here. You can have METARs down here and whatever. Users, this shows you how many users on. This is where you send your text messages, etc. Flight plan, and this is weird because you know it's not a real flight plan, so to speak. You put your flight plan in here, so you would copy it into this box down here where it says route, and then you can send. So that's sent it to VATSIM. Weather, you can collect your weather around your aircraft. Nothing is showing because obviously I am not connected to VATSIM. I will do in a moment. Right, so let's go back to my aircraft. Not aircraft, sorry. This one. I got to remember what aircraft I'm in. I'm in a Ryanair. Right, yeah. Ryanair 737-800. I'd forgotten. So if I can't change it there, so you have to do this online. So let's connect, and that should light up. Hang on, connect. There we are. I am now connected to the network. You see the purple writing up at the top. Yeah, and the little yellow light that is on there by net. Okay, meaning I am connected to the network. Now, that is not. Oh, you just see some aircraft. There's a couple of aircraft that are online. And these are all the aircraft in the area now, so they've all kind of come in. Okay. ATC, there's somebody on ground at Heathrow. Peter Mooney, he's been on ground for the last few days. Alright. Right, flight plan. This is the bit, because that's not my call sign. I'm not Chanex 2302. I am Ryanair, and I've forgotten already how to change this. This is amazing. This is what happens. It's so complex that you forget what you're doing. Cockpit. That's my aircraft. ATC, audio, cockpit, simulator, models, text jam, flight plan. Now why on earth can I not change that? Override aircraft data from simulator, yes. Right, disconnect. I've disconnected and it picks from the connect screen, disconnect and fill in the details. It takes a while to disconnect as well, I've noticed. Okay, there we go. So, oh, I can't. I've forgotten already the. Why can't I get rid of that? And pick from the connect screen, disconnect and fill in the details. Well, I have done, mate. Connect. Here we go. That's it. So you need, once you start up and you're in this screen, which is the connect screen, yeah. You see I've got my information in there, my VATSIM ID, password, my name and my home airport. That's the aircraft, Laminar Research modified by Zebo and Twixter, yeah. Sometimes it doesn't pick everything up, you may have to write in here B738 Ryanair, etc. Okay, so that is good. That is correct. So connect now. There we are, and I'm connected as Ryanair 2302. Thanks, Lee. This is amazing. A night of sleep and I've forgotten exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Alright, so that's why I say that Swift has chosen complexity over simplicity. Right, I am online. So let me minimize that and we'll just have a look here. So here we have two aircraft. I do not know what simulator these guys are in. I could probably find out. But as you can see, the wheels are on the ground. He's an American. Now then. You see the label on the aircraft there? There we go. Bit of communication, bit quiet. He's filed from Boston. Typical. Obviously a new pilot at Heathrow. Anyway, so you can see what I'm trying to tell you is you see everybody in their correct liveries. British Airways World Cargo, he's obviously on the wrong stand, but you've got labels here, and I hate labels on aircraft, but you can get rid of it. Now, you come to your plugins, and you go to X Swift Bus, and it says show hide aircraft labels. Hidden, they've gone. The yellow labels have gone, which is perfect. It can be hard identifying that there are aircraft on the ground, but there is a way of doing that. And it's quite simple. Okay, so you open Swift. Swift ideally should be used on two monitors. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this over to the other screen. Okay, so you can see me moving it over to my other screen. So ideally you would use Swift with two monitors or just minimize it. But I'm going to move this over here. And let me show you this, because there's a button on here called radar, and you turn it on and it opens up a radar screen. Okay, which is pretty neat. But there's the aircraft around. American 212, that's the one that's there taxiing. Next to is Speedbird 17 Victor. Over here we've got an aircraft with a weird call sign. The Speedbird is just disconnected. You see he's disappeared. Over there, Tango Alpha Yankee 1 and Speedbird 283 Alpha, which is probably over at Terminal 5. Now that is a scale of half a mile there. We have the scale here. So if I pull out to a mile, there we go. That's the airport. It's a pity that we don't have a drawing of the airport here, because unless you look at your scale, you get a bit confused. 3 miles out. Let's go to 10 miles. 20 miles. So these are aircraft flying, because they've got the little heading indicator at the front of the aircraft. These are aircraft that are not flying on the ground, and you can see their altitude at 0. Whereas these guys, flight level 149. Now, there is a way of following these, but I don't recommend it. And the reason why I don't recommend it is it's really hard to get it off. Once you're following them, it's hard to get back. So I'm not going to do that. Because it drove me mad. Alright, let's go back to the cockpit. Hang on, my flight plan, there we are. So back to the flight plan, and I'll move that out of the way. So as you can see, there's the American Airlines aircraft. There are others around. Where was it? T5 over here, wasn't it? There's a TNT aircraft there. And over here, there should be somebody over on Terminal 5. They've disappeared. Yep, there's nobody there. Oh, hang on. There's somebody there. Yeah, British Airways, so he's on the right stand. So, there we have it. Swift. Incredibly complex, incredibly confusing, but it works. And after all these years, it's good to see it. It really is good to see it. My advice is that if you get it, and there's no reason why you shouldn't, is take your time with it. Make sure you point it to the correct CSL. That's my only advice, is that you put it to the correct CSL. Otherwise, it really is going to cause havoc. Choose your flight plan, search, so departure airport, destination airport, XPF for Glasgow, and then you can put in remarks here, so like observing and live streaming. Yeah, so that's in there, and I can just send that off. So at least the guy on the ground knows that I'm doing something, and it says flight plan sent. Okay, so that's straightforward enough. And if you've got it on screen like that, you click on screen, it disappears. It's just minimized, down like that, which is cool. But if you've got two screens, even better, because then you can monitor everything and see what's going on. Yeah, there we go. Lee, yeah, by all means, Lee, do that. Put it on the Facebook page, by all means. Also, could you put the link on to download it? I've got it on there as well, but if you want to do that, and because I do think the more people who test it, especially Xplane users, annoying controls. Well, I've just been coming here. I was at JFK the other day because I wanted to see what it looked like with a lot of traffic about, and it's excellent, I must admit. especially now that we don't have aircraft floating in the air. So the American, he's off, although he's got his air brakes open for some reason. Ooh, excuse me. Oh. Excuse me. The animations are really, really good. You can tell it's daytime. Nobody flies here in the UK during the day because everybody's in work. The animations are really good. Unfortunately, I don't know whether he's got his air brakes up or whether that's just a bad animation. He's going too fast, that's for sure. Taxi speed shouldn't be any faster than a fast walking pace. Did you know that? Apparently. So very fast walking pace, no faster. But he's going way too fast. Danger of his auto throttle kicking in at that speed. Okay. Cheers, Lee. That's good. So who else is? So there's Lee here, there's Chris Gale, and there's a third person as well who haven't said hello. Good morning to you, whoever you are. Anyway, we'll watch this guy take off, I think. So let me move the camera over here. Let's get over here a bit. His takeoff point should be around about here, at a guess. Around about here. I was at Heathrow recently when we went to Vietnam. Flew with Vietnam Airlines on the 787, which was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And the crew, the cabin crew, was just so attentive. You know, we weren't first class or anything like that, but the cabin crew were brilliant. Oh, where's he going? He's going over onto the other runway, 27 right, I think. Am I right? Yeah, he's going to 27 right. So we'll go over to this side of the airport, right? And the hotel we were staying in, we stayed in the hotel overnight at Heathrow, around about, it might have been that one there. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think it was the Holiday Inn. You could walk to it from the car park. It was really weird. It was quite exciting. But from our hotel, from the hotel window, we could see. No, it wasn't that one. It was down here, one of the newer hotels, which is down this end. Down here, but you can't see them. But from my hotel window, I could see Concorde. I'm just trying to figure out where Concorde is now. It's down the other end, isn't it? There it is. There it is. So we was on this side at one of these hotels over here. I'm sure. I can't remember. I cannot remember now, but we could see Concorde, which was over there, and we could also see. No, that's wrong, because I'm pretty sure Concorde was by the side of Terminal 5, and we were on Terminal 4. Anyway, whatever. I'd have to go back to Heathrow and figure it all out. Right, where's that plane gone? Oh, there he is. There he is. He's just coming to his. So let's get over here. Could well be. Ewan Galloway. Good morning, Ewan. So, looks as though, yeah, he's down now, right? So his takeoff point is going to be around about here, I guess. Around about there. And also the lights come on as well. The landing lights and everything on these animations are really good. And you don't need to be at night to see them, so therefore he hasn't got his landing lights on. Otherwise I would definitely be able to see them. Are you going to stop? A bit of a rolling takeoff, but poorly executed as well. I think around about here. Mind you, he's going that slow, it's hard to tell. Here we go. Oh, he's just put his landing lights on. And hey, that wasn't too bad, was it? I said it would be there. Let's turn around. Pull away. No, his gear's up. Spoilers are still up, so that's unfortunate. That's just an animation glitch. Oh dear, 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 dear. Is he turning left? He's turning left. There we go, and away he goes. Nicely done. The other evening I was here, and there was quite a bit of traffic flying into Heathrow and flying out. It was good fun. Oh, 747's getting ready to taxi. And we've got a triple there, Virgin. It's amazing the number of people who go to Heathrow who are new pilots, and they think, oh, we'll go to Heathrow, it'll be fine, and they get themselves into all sorts of trouble. And who's that? Kenya Airways. Well, that plane is not going to get all the way to Kenya, that's for sure. 737. Okay guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed the little that I showed you of Swift. Like I say, it's confusing, but there is a logic to it. You just need to work through it, kind of thing, and figure it out. And it works. It does what it's supposed to do. It doesn't do it as efficiently and as swiftly as XSquawkBox. You just click on it, connect. You're connected straight away, and you don't have to jump through as many hoops with it. I think Swift, once you kind of get to grips with it, and I've been messing with this for 4 days just to get it to work, but that was my fault. The reason why it didn't work was all down to me. It was nothing to do with Swift. It was the fact that I put the CSLs in the wrong place, and kind of messed it all up a little bit. So that was all down to me. It was nothing to do with the program itself. But once you get it in, and everything's fine. It just works. And once we get the new voice codecs from VATSIM, which I have heard, and they are being tested, so that's not that far off either. With the new voice codecs and this, it'll be fabulous. I am going flying tomorrow evening. I haven't done a flight this week, but I'm flying tomorrow evening from Birmingham to Alicante. I'll be using Swift all the way. I may stream that flight. You never know. We'll have to see. So, what's that? How long have I been here? 40 minutes. Not bad. Not bad for a live stream. Unfortunately, it's easier for me to stream during the day than at night, because at night I would end up disturbing my wife, and also I've got the dog to worry about, and so I end up having to take the dog out for a walk partway through a stream, which is not very professional. Not that I care about being professional, I just care about making sure people have the information and get the stuff they need. Anyway, it's brightening up to be a nice day. It's getting a bit brighter out there. I wouldn't say it's not as nice as it was yesterday. Yesterday was beautiful, and all of this week has been fabulous. But yeah, it's getting a little bit cloudy now. The weather's breaking a little bit, but fingers crossed it will all come back and it will be good again. If only we could have a summer like we had last year, it would be wonderful. Alright. Right. I think what you're saying there, Lee, is that when you disconnect, if you've still got your brakes your spoilers deployed, that when you reconnect, they're still there. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that, Lee. Okay, guys. Let's disconnect. So disconnect. You see the blue bar, and we disconnect there, and we're disconnected immediately, which is nice. Right. Well, that's that. And now I'm back at Heathrow all on my own. All for my own. With the incredible London scenery. What's that over there? Oh, that's Crystal Palace, isn't it? That's Crystal Palace. London under its haze. I'm trying to find Wembley, but the weather is that grim. I can't pick it out. But that's the skyline, isn't it? That is an amazing skyline. You've got the dome there, you've got the Shard, Canary Wharf, the mobile phone. I don't know where the Gherkin is. The Gherkin is in this. I know the Gherkin's there. And over here you've got the GPO Tower, which used to be one of the highest buildings, tallest buildings in London for an awful long time. There's Wembley. Oh no, sorry, that's not Wembley. That is the Olympic Park. I'm not very good with London. I used to be. Let's see if we can see Windsor Castle. It's out this way somewhere. Is that it? No, that's the cooling tower. There's the castle. There's Windsor. There's Windsor Castle. I mean, the thing, Xplane gets me all the time. Look at this. So you know, I'm at Heathrow. Okay, there's Windsor class. It's so good, especially with Orbex. It's so good that you can pick out geographic things. There's Windsor Castle. You can see the traffic going past on the M25. I think that might be. Yeah, I mean that's just amazing, isn't it? And it's in amazing detail. Let's see if I can elevate myself a little bit. Yeah, let's get up there. Whoops. And then have a look down. That is superb. And I've been to Windsor Castle as well. Visited and gone up the River Thames on a boat. That is superb. Oh, this is the M4 M25 interchange here, I think. Yeah. Okay, that's it, guys. I'm going to call it a wrap, and I will see you again all in the not too distant future. You take care. Cheerio. Ends.